So we'll see if this video comes out or not. But I'm sitting here by the fire thinking, as one does when they're sitting by a fire, and started to much better view. Started to think about finding your inner peace, right? I know a lot of people that struggle with just mental health and stuff, and depression, anxiety, all kinds of stuff. And by no means am I an expert on this, or I'm not even an amateur at this stuff, so take whatever I say with a grain of salt. I have no idea what I'm talking about, but what I do know, what I'm talking about, is what works for me. I've mentioned it in videos, I have really bad ADD. But when I was younger, my mother took me to a therapist that I remember helped me big time with being able to control it. Because I remember when I was a kid, they had tried Ritalin with me and something else with a C, some experimental thing. I remember going to like clinical trials almost for it, maybe. I don't know why I remember that, but I feel like I did that. So these different pills and stuff, and I didn't like the way they made me feel. They like snowed me, and I didn't like them. So I ended up taking the pills, and we had like a kitchen table that would expand out, and it would expand out, and it had like a little hollow underneath it. I ended up every morning, my mother would give me my pill with breakfast, and I would hide the pill underneath there, along with food. Don't judge me, I was a kid. But like unwanted food that I didn't want, I was gross. Anyway, I don't want to diverge. So one day my mom opens up the table because we had company coming over or something, I don't know, and sees all these pills or whatever, and you know, told her then, like, I don't like the way they make me feel, so I don't take them. And I feel like I've had that my whole life, is I don't take pills. I don't like to take pills. I do take pills. I take a lot of Motrin and Tylenol and stuff, but like any kind of narcotic and stuff is just not for me. So she took me to a therapist that taught me how to control my ADD at the time. I don't know if those types of therapists still exist or what, but it worked for me. She taught me at the time. She was like talking to me about her windows and stuff she was putting in her house, and I didn't feel like it was working much. But like I remember, years later and stuff, started remembering things she told me, and ended up being able to control it. Now, I'm not perfect with that, like if a couple people kind of setting or something, I can control it pretty good. I can focus on one thing and stuff, but you put me in a room with a ton of people or something, or loud noises and stuff, and I can't handle it. And I wound up spacing out, and I'm all over the place, and you could have a 20-minute conversation with me to my face where I'm like replying to you, and I will not remember any of it. So like I said, not perfect, but instead of ADD, I have a lot of other things, demons, I guess you could call them. Just things from my past and things that I've done that I have a lot of regrets and stuff that they creep up on you every once in a while. Everybody has them, right? So the whole point of this is like finding your peace, right? Regardless of what you have on your mind and what is bugging you, you need to find something that brings you peace, that brings you calm, and not like just like, hey, I'm not hyper, like your soul, like inside of you feels calm, right? And to me, it's the woods. It's being outdoors. It's being in nature. It's why I started this channel, and it's why I gravitate to nature, and like sitting here by a fire, it calms me. I feel like I've even noticed it, or I've had other people notice as well, in my videos and stuff, where if I'm in the garage and I'm making something, some of those videos I'm a little more hyper and stuff. But as soon as I'm outside and I'm in the woods or something, I'm very calm, and I still get excited. I'm still happy, but it just, it grounds me. So this might not be for everybody though, right? I'm not saying, everybody, if you have mental health issues, just go sit in the woods. I do feel you should try though, because being in the woods and being in nature and kind of unplugging a little bit, even though I'm on camera here, but unplugging a bit and trying to like find your roots, like we all come from the earth, right? Connect to that, and find your peace inside of you and find your calm. And stuff like this, these little trips, or little camp trips and things where I'm just outside, I can hear the crickets and the frogs in the background, and hear the birds in the morning, or just the sound of the rain on the tarp or the tent in the morning, or the tarp if I'm laying in a hammock. Those things, just the wind in the trees and the way the trees creak as they sway, all those things combine and resonate in me, and they calm me down, and they center me. I've heard people say, I gotta just recharge. I need time off of work. I need to recharge my batteries and stuff. I'm like a firm believer of that. Like this recharges me. And even if I could only go on one of these a year, where I'm just kind of by myself and stuff, but it does, like, this brings me an energy that I can keep for months and months, that it does recharge me, and it brings me a sense of calm and peace. Sorry if you're bouncing on my leg. See? But yeah, it calms me down, and it recharges me. It gives me fresh energy. I have a somewhat stressful job. We're always under some kind of deadline or some time of crunch. And another part of me, people say it's a trait of ADD, but I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But I'm very hard on myself, for the work that I do. And everything I do the best I can do it. I try not to half-ass anything that I do. If I'm going to set out to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm trying to instill that in my kids and stuff too, but it can be a curse at times too. So I'm like, I don't push it that hard. For instance, like when things don't go well at work, like last week, for instance, I was working on something that I knew was wrong. I knew it wasn't right. I always think about who's using this. Software engineer. I think I just mentioned that. I'm not sure, but I build website things for a mortgage company. But I always think about the user, who's using this, what they're doing with it, and I knew it wasn't right, and I kept beating myself up over it, like, even though I was told, well, you got to do it, and I did it, and the whole time it was bugging me, and it was just eating at me, until finally on Friday, I finally spoke up and said, like, hey, I don't feel good about this. I just don't want this. And we wound it up kind of scrapping it. And I felt bad because I felt like I just wasted 2 days of work, that got basically thrown in the trash. And that's like that inner dialogue with me where it's just like, it has to be done. I have to finish it. It has to be perfect, you know. But like looking back at it now, I'm in the woods. It's okay, you know, like I'm at peace. I'm calm, you know, and I'm just sitting here by the fire talking to a red dot flashing at me. But I know I don't have many subscribers, but sometimes I get some good views on certain videos and things. Maybe this will be one of them. I don't know. And honestly, I don't really care. I would love more subscribers, obviously, if you haven't. But what I care about is just having fun doing this, and I don't want this to become that burden of, it has to be perfect. It has to be done right. This channel is about my center and my calm and my peace and being outdoors and doing things in the outdoors. And that should be fun for me. If this ever becomes not fun, then I'll stop the channel. But anyway, back to my point. If this video does get some good views, even if it gets 2 views, fine. But if one of those 2 views speaks to somebody, I guess, who's maybe struggling with something, or maybe has anxiety or about stuff, or just, I don't know, in general, maybe this will speak to them in some way to find their calm. Like I said, maybe the woods and outdoor is not your thing. A lot of people don't like bugs, and bugs are part of this. But maybe this will encourage them to find their peace, what works for them. Everybody's different. Could be, man, I'm really fading here. It could be, cooking. It could be cleaning. It could be sitting by a fire. It could be whatever. It could be sailing, Maybe you find peace out on the water. Wherever you find your peace, find it and keep it peaceful. Don't make it stressful. Make it something that calms you. Anyway, yeah, that's it. I'll see you on the next one.